So same day, same time, just another part of the same video. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I had to contemplate and deal with when it came to starting to lock my hair. Now, this may sound like a strange concept to some people, that you would have to put that much thought into a hairstyle. However, if you haven't experienced some of the issues that I'm going to bring up, it would be hard to understand, but try to keep an open mind. So I did have locks for 5 to 7 years between high school and college, and a lot came with having locks. One of the first things was, it's not a common thing in my family. So there were people in my family who weren't so keen on it, people have a lot of preconceived notions about when they see people with locks, what that means about that person, and what other people must think about that person. And my family didn't want that for me. And they just, a lot of people think locks are gross and dirty, and they think that like most people who have them are like dirty and unwashed and unshowered and do drugs and all kinds of crazy thoughts. So it was never something that was enjoyed by my family. So I had to, when it came time to cut them, because they just got so long and heavy, I just couldn't take it anymore. It was an exciting day for them. It was hard. It was a hard thing for me, and it was a little emotional, pretty emotional, but I had family members who were very happy to see them go. So when I decided to lock my hair this time, I actually didn't tell my family. Only person who knew was my cousin and a few of my friends, because my cousin is my loctician and natural hair specialist. And by the way, I will link her website below, but she's LadySybilLLC, and this is what she does. This is what she does. So the first thing I had to deal with was knowing that I was going to get some pushback from some family members who would be upset that that I locked my hair. This is a really weird thing to say out loud, but like, I sometimes felt like my hair was my family's pride and joy. And every time I would, be back to visit family, one of the first things they would do is just start touching my hair and then showing other people my hair. Oh, do you see my daughter's hair? It's so long and beautiful. Oh, look at my sister's hair. Look how long and beautiful it is. That's her natural hair. And it was something to brag about, something to be prideful about my long hair. And I knew, because it was viewed that way, that when I decided to lock it, it was going to be an issue for them. But a lot of people think locks are beautiful now. They're a lot more common now than they were when I was younger and I had them. And I'm not doing my hair in any style because other people think it's beautiful or think it's nice. I'm doing what works best for me. As I stated in the end of my last video, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I also have fibromyalgia, and I get a lot of pain and weakness in my hands because of that. And I was really struggling to continue to comb out my hair every time I washed it, or in between washes or anything like that. It was getting really hard, and I don't want to be dependent on having to have someone do things like that for me. So that was what first had me contemplating locking my hair. There are quite a few things that were holding me back from locking my hair. The one that I just mentioned, which was worried about family being upset that I locked my hair and that I would do something like this to my beautiful long hair. And the other thing was, a lot of discrimination comes with wearing locks. And I experienced a lot of that when I had them all those times, like all those years ago. And one of the most concerning ones was the discrimination with law enforcement. I got pulled over and searched and drug tested a lot when I had locks, a lot more than I did after I had them. There's an assumption out there that people who have locks do specific drugs, or because locks are a cultural thing and a religious thing for some people in different religions and different cultures. However, there's a broad assumption that if you have locks, you do drugs and live a very specific type of lifestyle. And so it was a bit of an issue to be discriminated against. I mean, I'm already a woman, I'm already Black, and then my hair was causing additional discrimination. Another version of that, the law enforcement thing, was like TSA agents. Now, I know they say that when you get the random security check where they open all of your luggage and take everything out and check it, or when they pull you aside and do a search and things like that, they say it's random. It's just a random selection. However, in the 5 to 7 years, I can't remember if it was 5 or 7 anymore, but let's just say 5 for now. In the 5 years I had the Locs, when I was going between, when I was in high school, when I was in college, between going to college auditions and flying back and forth to see family, I was flying a lot. And my luggage got completely opened and everything taken out every single flight for all those years. And I would fly like 4 to 5 times a year. And each flight there and back, it would get flagged. And they were like, it's just random. But I'm like, it can't be random if I never catch a flight and without getting it. Because like I had to leave that extra time for that happening, because it would happen to me every time. And being a college student, you know, I'm stuffing my luggage. I have to like sit on it to zip it. And then these people are opening it and unpacking everything that it took me hours to pack in exactly. It was really hard and it was really frustrating. And I knew it wasn't random because it happened to me every single time. I kid you not. As soon as I cut my locks, 2 flights later, I've never had my luggage opened again. So, I mean, I can only present what's been happening, is that it is probably random for most people, but if there's certain things about you, they will make assumptions and you have to go through things that other people don't have to. The other thing is I dealt with discrimination from medical professionals because of my locks. I just wasn't always listened to, which I'm a woman and I'm Black, so those things happen already. But the difference I've noticed from before the locks, when I had the locks, and then after the locks, I can see how different I was treated. I was always assumed to be drug seeking when I had locks. It was always assumed if I went to the emergency room that I was just trying to get narcotics. I was dismissed so many times with severe injuries or illness because they assumed I was drug seeking. Like, there was a whole issue when I had my very first back injury and I was in college, and I had to go to the emergency room and I couldn't walk. My back injury was so bad, I could not walk. I was being carried by someone. And I was examined by a doctor who never even asked me to stand, just had me roll over on my side, like poked my back a little bit, assumed I was drug seeking, wrote me prescriptions for something pretty mild, and then took the wheelchair that I was wheeled in and just left me there. I was in so much pain. I was like somewhat delusional. I couldn't even recognize what was happening to me. It was the person I was with who was like, what in the world is going on? This doctor didn't even examine you. You can't even stand. And he gave you like an ibuprofen prescription. Like, we wouldn't have come to the emergency room if all you needed was ibuprofen. But apparently, and I thank the Lord for this, someone saw how I was being mistreated. I don't know if it was a nurse or whoever, but that doctor's superior came and saw that, like, it was taking like 15 minutes where the person I was with was trying to help me straighten out my body just to get my feet on the ground to get off of the examination table. Like, I was in that severe of a spasm. And the doctor came in and apologized and said, you know, I don't know why they didn't examine you correctly and didn't realize how bad it was. And they gave me the help I needed, you know, and I was able to leave that hospital functioning a little bit better and get what I needed. And like, that was one of the situations that affected me the most, you know. We're just remembering how in a bad shape I was, and I couldn't advocate for myself, but I was being discriminated against because of my hair, because I've been back to hot ERs with that same injury when I didn't have the locks, and no one said anything about me being drug seeking or assumed I was drug seeking. So, you know, I was very worried. Like, I've recently, well, it hasn't been that recently, but I moved to a new state in the East Coast, to North Carolina, in 2019, and I am just now establishing new doctors. And because I have some chronic health issues, I have to see a lot of specialists. And I was really worried about starting locks with my hair and meeting new doctors and them making assumptions about me and me not getting the treatment and the help that I need because they see my hair and they make assumptions. One of the upsides is that where I live in North Carolina, locks are extremely common. So it's a little bit less likely to impact me with the doctors as much because I think they see them all the time here. So it's not as new of a thing to them. It's just as the same as braids probably. And so I think lastly, the other thing I had to like contemplate and kind of weigh the pros and cons of is that first impressions are affected when you have locks. Meeting people for the first time, rather they can assume that you're uneducated or that you're just unkept or all the weird things that people say and think when they see certain hairstyles. And I was kind of like, do I want to go through that again? Of people seeing me, looking me up and down, like looking at my hair and being like, we don't really want to know what she has to say, or she can't have much to contribute. I mean, look at her. I've overheard people saying stuff like that when I had locks. So, I was really kind of thinking about, okay, what are the positives of having locks? Me feeling more free, me feeling more capable, me feeling like myself, me looking the way I feel on the inside, on the outside, me not conforming to the regular beauty standards because that's not who I am and it's never been who I am. And I don't even know how I got there. It's so weird, like to hear people compliment my hair when it was straightened and talk about how this beautiful mixed race hair that I have. And it was really weird because that's never who I was. And it was never something I was trying to portray. And it was never something I was trying to get compliments on or have pride in. It just was. And if I'm going to be complimented on something like my hair, I would rather be, those are beautiful locks. You like it. I love the way your locks are growing. They look unique. You look like you take care of your locks well. Like for me, those are compliments. I don't know why I feel that way, but it's just something that's inside me, and I just want to feel like me. I think part of why I focus so much on that, wanting to feel like me and the way I feel inside, is because when you're dealing with chronic illness and chronic health issues and you feel like you have no control over your body and it just doesn't work for you and your life revolves around your malfunctioning body, you want to try to, change and help what you can and like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like I have so little control over how these diseases affect my body, but I can control the way my hair looks and the message that my hair gives. I can't control that people can't visually see my health issues and understand that I need help and grace and extra time, but I can, wear a hairstyle that makes me feel like myself and it makes me feel what is my version of what is beautiful. So you control what you can, in these kind of situations. And so I don't know, like, I'm curious if anybody else has experienced some of the discrimination that I'm talking about. And especially if you've gone between having locks and not having locks or not, the difference and how you were treated by people. But I didn't want to make this decision unless I knew that this is what I was going to do. Like, this was what I wanted for the future. Like, I'm about to be 40 and I just needed to know that I was making a choice that I wanted to keep. It wasn't a momentary thing. It wasn't a whim. I thought about this for like 6 months and just really, my cousin probably was tired of me. Like, I would just sit by her and just be like, I want to do this, but what if the doctors treat me like this? What if, I start getting issues with law enforcement here? What if, I meet someone and they're judgmental of the hair and, you know, and she was kind of like, girl, just do your thing. But I was like, I don't know. It's a lot to make a choice that you know comes with discrimination. Like, I can't choose not to be a woman. I can't choose not to be Black, but I can choose not to wear a hairstyle that's going to cause extra discrimination. And so it was hard to make that decision. So I'm just wondering if anybody else, please comment below if you know what I'm talking about, like to have to make that kind of choice. And if you've seen the difference with the way you're treated. There's not that many hairstyles that I could personally wear that would cause this kind of a change in my life, both in the way I'm treated by the outside world and the way I view myself. But this was one of them. And so I just wanted to share that thought process and kind of how I had to process all of that. And, you know, if you haven't watched already, I do have a video where I talk about the process of starting locks on hair of this length, about 28 to 30 something inches, and some photos of how, like, what we used and how the process has gone. But I'm really excited to share my lock journey. I've been watching so many lock journey videos. It's so helpful. Thank you for all the people out there who've been making those videos. It really helped me to make my decision and to know what to expect, to remember what to expect, and to be excited for it, you know, to be happy and looking forward to this change that I have control over. And, you know, I can't wait until my locks are established and strong enough to wear some lock jewelry and just kind of really go with it. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you continue to follow along with the journey. Bye.